Whether you love them or not, it's likely that Disney has been a big part of your childhood. From their memorable 2D movies to their critically acclaimed 3D films with Pixar, a ton of theories have been brought up trying to explain aspects of the Disney universe, some of which are just too compelling to ignore. So today, we're going to count down the most interesting Disney conspiracy theories. Keep in mind that we didn't come up with any of these theories, they're just theories and nothing more. Also, we're going to be sticking to just Disney and Pixar films. With that being said, hold on to your childhoods. This is the top 20 Disney movies theories. The Toy Story divorce theory. This theory by Jess Nevins explains that Andy's parents are going through a divorce during the first Toy Story movie. Woody and Buzz are both authority figures, someone heroic and self-righteous for Andy to look up to. This would explain why we can see that Andy's mom has no wedding ring on her finger, or why Andy's family is moving to a smaller house in the first place, without his father's financial support.
WALL-E doomed Earth. The story of WALL-E tells the tale of an inhabitable Earth that has caused humanity to move into space and send robots to clean their home planet. Several years later, the last robot around is WALL-E. Why is that? If robots inhabited the Earth to clean it, and the last remaining one is WALL-E, while there is still all the junk around, how could this have happened? One theory on Reddit claims that WALL-E was the one who destroyed all the other robots. This would explain why he's able to just desecrate the remains of his fellow robots, despite being a being clearly capable of pain and emotion. Maybe this pain and emotion caused him to overthink his own mission. The robots' mission were to gather the trash and compact it, while WALL-E would rather keep the junk to himself. An error in his programming, this could have caused him to destroy other robots so he could keep more artifacts for himself.
The life of Cars. Many theories have been brought up trying to answer some of the questions of the Cars universe and how it works. For example, do cars grow up? There are some fully grown adult cars, kid cars, and even baby cars out there, but most evidence is hardly any. Do cars have organs? We all know that cars need a motor, battery, radiator, and all the typical components needed for it to work. But we also see that Lightning McQueen has a tongue and even teeth. There's also early concept artwork of cars showing the anatomy of Lightning McQueen, so we know it exists, just not how it works. Is the motor vital for a car's life? In a deleted scene, we see Lightning McQueen getting a motor transplant into a steamroller so he can repair the street. Some theorists see this as evidence for the motor being either the brain or the heart of the car's body and is necessary for the car to live. Monsters Inc. and the bubonic plague. In Monsters Inc., the world is inhabited entirely by monsters who use the screams of children as renewable energy. The only problem is that the monsters believe that humans are entirely toxic and are actually more afraid of them than the children are of the monsters. But why would monsters think that of humans in the first place? Remember that one scene where there was a human sock found on that one monster's fur? The special forces came busting through the windows, vaporizing the sock and shaving the fur. Well, why would they shave the fur? Because of the bubonic plague. Monsters Inc. is a lot more advanced than we are, so it can be assumed that the monsters have been collecting screams for a long time, maybe even since the Dark Ages when the plague was around. The plague was spread mainly through fleas. No fur equals no fleas, and therefore no plague. The Incredibles and Jack Jack. Near the end of the film, Jack Jack is revealed to be the most powerful super there is, being able to transform and control a wide variety of powers at will. This theory believes that every super goes through this random surge of powers during the developing baby years. Once they're old enough, their powers will become more coherent and latch on to a single power that relates to their personality, much like the other Incredibles. Dash is impulsive, so he's fast, and Violet is shy, so she's invisible, and so on. The Reddit user who made the theory compares Jack Jack to a stem cell, saying that Jack Jack will eventually develop into one specific power as he matures. While he's still young and developing, his powers are also still young and developing, thus lies the potential of it becoming, well, any superpower.
Toy Story 3 and the Holocaust. Film critic Jordan Hoffman believes that Toy Story 3 is an allegory to the Holocaust. Andy leaving for college represents the beginning of World War II, which is why Woody and his friends hide in the attic, like Anne Frank. After being sent to Sunnyside Daycare, which is meant to represent concentration camps, the toys manage to escape but end up heading straight for an incinerator. The toys are saved by assumingly the Allies and relocate to a new place with many of their own kind.
Andy's mom owned Jessie. In Toy Story 2, we learned that Jessie was once owned by a girl named Emily, but once she started getting older, she gave Jessie away. During Jessie's flashback of Emily, we see a red cowboy hat on her bed. We also see that she began to grow up sometime during the 70s, which would be the perfect age for Emily to be Andy's mom today. It's also supported by the fact that Andy is now wearing a similar red cowboy hat that Emily once owned, so one can assume that maybe Andy's mom gave her son the red hat? And it just so happens that Jessie is back with Emily and her son, Andy.